the show, the stars of the new Steve Jobs film. Thanks to Steve Jobs, it's amazing what technology can do now. I mean, look at this. Michael, ask it something.
Do we have a great show tonight?
We have great guests, especially that Michael Fassbender. He's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and what about the host, Graham Norton?
I'm sorry. I don't know what Graham Norton is.
You know, the chat show host?
Would you like me to search for old men with beards?
Stupid fuck. That's our show! For you tonight, and hey, there's bound to be some computer talk. And you know, the modern computer has so many uses. We use it for knowledge, news, banking. Mainly, though, we use it for looking at pictures like this. It's true. You won't believe what happened next. But Steve Jobs, what a genius. Now, here he is launching Apple's revolutionary new phone. Yeah, you could make calls, send emails, and carry it all around in the palm of your hand. Of course, we had our own Steve Jobs in this country. Yeah. Hey, let's get some guests on. Later with the music from pop superstar Eddie Goulding, everybody. Yeah. This man exploded onto the music scene with his debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, one of the biggest selling hip-hop artists of all time. Now he's back with his new single, 9 Shots. It's 50 Cent. She's made us laugh and cry, playing characters from Mrs. Overall to Mo Molam, now starring in the movie Brooklyn. Please welcome Julie Walters! I see you. He's one of Hollywood's hottest properties after a string of standout performances in Shame, Inglourious Basterds, X-Men, and Oscar-nominated in 12 Years a Slave. Now starring as Steve Jobs, it's Michael Fassbender! And starring with Michael and Steve Jobs, this lady shot to fame in Titanic 18 years ago and has gone on to win 3 Golden Globes, a Grammy, an Emmy, and an Oscar. She's one of our greatest Hollywood exports and one of my favorite actresses. It's Kate Winslet! Meeting and greeting.
It's just a sort of a, you know,
yeah,
excuse to kiss a bunch of people.
Nice. There you go. Welcome. Did somebody die and I didn't get a memo? What happened? Like, I feel rude. Like, disrespectful. I've gone crazy. Are you all right there, Julie?
Yes, why'd you ask?
Well, no, because I know you like Michael.
I beg your pardon.
You're a fan of Michael's, aren't you?
I think Michael is a very nice person.
Yes. And have you met 50 Cent before?
Yes, of course, I'm a huge fan.
Okay. If I had to force you, Julie, what would you say is your favourite 50 Cent record of all time?
Okay, well, love the first album. Get Rich. Yeah, Get Rich, Die Trying.
Good.
Absolutely loved Massacre.
Yeah, we all did.
My favourite is In the Club.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, go, shot.
Oh, no, wait, you know this.
I've got a bit of a racket.
Because you didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know, did you? So it's go, shorty, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday.
Yeah, very good.
See, you didn't know, did you?
I didn't know you knew it.
I see.
Oh, right. Now, in all that excitement, Julie, your poppy has fallen off.
Good God.
And the Daily Mail will go apeshit if you're on here without a poppy.
Michael Fassbender was standing on it. Michael, you cracked my poppy.
Yeah. It's back on. We're good. Now, talking of birthdays, ladies and gentlemen, talking of birthdays, Kate Winslet, you had a, well, not a big birthday, but a milestone birthday.
Going on 40. Oh, you're only as good. Yes, you would.
Well, you say, oh, you don't look at 40. But you don't, because you're on the cover of Esquire magazine. No, look at this. This is...
Oh, no, I do actually look quite... No, I do actually, Michael, I do look quite nice, don't I?
Very nice indeed.
No, you look amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, good photographer works wonders, bit of hair and makeup.
But talking of turning 40,
Yes.
now rather confusingly, 50 turned 40.
Yeah. Don't show my pictures now.
No, we're showing your picture because you decided, turned 40, you thought, I'm going to do a magazine cover.
Yeah, I said I wasn't going to be fat.
No.
40. I didn't want to do that, you know, because I just finished shooting with the Southpaw film with Jake Gyllenhaal and Forrest Whitaker, and I was like cuddly for that one. It's like nice and soft. I was playing a promoter while they were playing professional fighters, so it didn't make sense for me to be all, you know, ripped up. And I gave myself the excuse to go get in shape after.
And the magazine you chose to appear on was Muscle and Fitness. Check that out.
Definitely do.
There are so many 40-year-olds watching this going, it's over. We're done. And now, Michael Fassbender, did you have a big birthday recently?
Well, recently in April. April 2nd.
Okay, because we found this picture online, and honest to God, we didn't make this picture.
Okay.
I think we Googled Michael Fassbender and birthday,
Okay.
and I swear to God, this is the picture that came up.
That was last April.
Happy days! Now, Michael and Kate are here to talk about the biopic Steve Jobs. Now, it opens next Friday, the 13th, directed by Danny Boyle. Now, obviously, Michael, you play Steve Jobs. Now, when we look at you, you don't immediately think, oh, my God, he looks just like Steve Jobs. So were you a bit nervous about going into this?
Well, I said to Danny, are you sure you want to hire me? Because, like, you know, exactly that. I said, I don't look anything like the man. And, you know, he's yes, but, you know.
Yeah, you really don't.
That wasn't a planned thing, you know, because Danny was like, I just want you to get the essence of the man. I'm not interested in lookalikes. We're just, you know, and the audience will deal with that in the first 5 minutes. And I think they do. Audiences are smart enough, and they say, okay, we're not going down that route. But by the time we got to the third act, you know, I was talking to Danny, and I said, you know, I think we should roll out the roll neck and the jeans and give the audience something in the third act, and we got the glasses, and that all happened kind of organically.
And Kate, who do you play?
Okay, so by the way, I just have to say, this film is really fantastic, and Michael is really fantastic in it. Moving on swiftly, I know you hate me doing that, but I have to say it. I play a woman named Joanna Hoffman. I look absolutely nothing like her at all.
There's the real.
That's her now. That's closer to her now. She was the head of marketing for the Macintosh, and she stayed in Steve's life as a friend for a very long time. And in the film, she's very much like his right-hand woman and his work wife. She's a hot-headed Polish-Armenian woman. And
she arrived complete with accent for the read-through on the first day.
That's annoying.
No,
That was annoying.
we were beside ourselves with fear.
Because with biopics, often people have a lot, you know, you have a lot of license. But this is such recent history. Everyone's got an opinion on what happened to the man. How do you think he fares? Do you think it's fair? Do you think he's let off easy? Do you think it's harsh?
Well, it's kind of hard for me to say, because even like when I was reading the script, and when, you know, Danny was saying, you know, he's being quite difficult here, or you know, he's not that likable. I just saw somebody who was literally trying to move mountains, you know. I mean, he had a vision from the mid-70s that, you know, we're experiencing now, you know, 35 years later and plus.
Yeah.
And so trying to drag everybody along to his vision, I think required an awful amount of focus, determination, and drive. And I think perhaps there was a little bit of lack of patience on his part, putting it maybe mildly, but, you know, it took an extraordinary amount of energy to get there, and I think he demanded the very best from people.
Well, listen, we've got a clip. This is your character, Kate, confronting Steve Jobs, not as an inventor or an innovator, but as a dad.
Don't think you're having a bizarre overreaction to a 19-year-old girl allowing her mother to list her own house.
She could have tried.
She's supposed to stop her mother, that particular mother, from living.
She gave Cassandra her blessing to sell the house, and she did it despite me.
I don't care if she put a pipe bomb in the water heater. You're going to fix it now.
She's been acting weird for months. She's turned on me.
Fix it.
What the?
Fix it, Steve.
Take it easy.
Fix it, or I quit. How about that? I quit and you never see me again. How about that?
Because obviously you can't meet Steve Jobs, but you met the real Joanna.
I did, yeah. And actually, that was quite helpful, I think.
She's an amazing woman.
She's amazing.
She was like, oh, I lost my Apple bonds. I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
She had all these shares in Apple.
Yeah,
And she was so not bothered by it. I'd be crying in the corner.
Yeah. She was so funny. She said, well,
misplaced them.
Steve had come to my apartment and he said, you know, Joanna, I have to clean this place. It's such a tip. And he cleaned it and then I lost my bonds. So she thinks that maybe Steve actually swept a rubbish bag and threw them away by accident.
Totally not bothered.
I don't know.
And her accent is very specific to her.
Yeah.
Like, it's not,
it
she's
drove
not
me
from anywhere.
absolutely
It's,
mad.
yeah.
It drove me bonkers, to be honest.
Because now, accents, now, is it true, 50 Cent, you can do a London accent?
I think I can do a little something. Okay. No, but it's a different thing, bruv.
Julie, you're good at the accents. But what ones are hard? Which ones do you struggle with?
Geordie, I think, is a hard one for me. Liverpool was very hard when I first did it, because I'm from Birmingham and people get them mixed up anyway, but because there is this kind of similarity, but not really once you learn Liverpool. It's not, but...
Well, 50, you can do your Geordie, because you're going to Newcastle tomorrow.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that when I... I'm going as 50 Cent.
Yeah, they won't be doing that, yes. But mind about in X-Men, you're not doing an accent, but you are... This next movie, is this the movie when you kind of turn into Ian McKellen?
Well, not really. Yeah, it's strange. No, for the first one, I used my own accent. And then for the second one, I did Ian McKellen's accent. So for this one, it's kind of a hybrid between the two. A little confused, actually. Yeah.
But do you have to talk to yourself in this one?
How do you mean?
Do you have to talk to Ian McKellen?
Oh, no, I don't talk to him in this. As in, like, to prepare, or in the actual film?
In the film. It's all time-traveling crap, I don't know.
That was the last one.
Yeah, you met in the last one.
Yeah.
Because
he's not in this one.
Oh, I see.
That's not a spoiler, is it? I don't think he's in it anyway. Pretty sure he's not.
Are you in it?
But I did, like, for the last one, I did listen to, you know, various tapes and sort of like...
Can you do a bit? Can you do a bit?
I'll give it a little go.
3 days as a crew flies.
And Kate Winslet, but you are doing your Australian accent.
Oh, yes, I'm in another film.
Yes, you're in another film, The Dressmaker.
Yes.
And so what's this one about, The Dressmaker?
Okay, The Dressmaker is based on a book. It's a dark comedy set in the 50s in a small town in Australia, and I play a woman, Tilly Dunnage, who has been ostracised by the town at the age of 10, wrongfully accused of being responsible for the murder of a fellow schoolmate. And the opening scene of the film, she gets off the bus and she says, "I'm back, you bastards." And the whole story is about revenge and also the rediscovery of a fragmented mother-daughter relationship. The mother, played by Judy Davis, as a senile old bat. She's fantastic. So it's a dark comedy with Liam Hemsworth as well.
All right, well, actually, we've got a clip, and this is you and Judy and Liam all together.
She tells them if they want it done proper, they've got to strip and be measured, because it's a work of art made special for them and no one else. You see, Tilly, I do listen. She tells them that they're all different, even though they're all the same. Too fat, too skinny. You'll be a sight for sore eyes. Anyway, lo and behold, our genius here does make them look different. Less like themselves and more like they want to be, don't you?
You just called me Tilly.
When?
Just then.
I never.
Yes, you did. And this morning, twice.
Oh, liar. Oh.
Sounds like this is the most important piece of clothing I'll ever own.
Struggling to keep a straight face during that scene. I've got to tell you, poor Liam, bless him, for, 12 hours straight, we kept making him take his clothes off. We didn't mean to or anything.
Yeah, we need
It was
another
an accident.
We need another take.
We
Just
kept
one more.
making mistakes, so we had to keep going again. Terrible. No, but Judy and I had a hard time keeping a straight face. I don't know why. The whole concept of that scene is just so silly and funny. But yes, lovely Liam. He's very sweet.
It is quite, like, that is very upstagey. It's just like...
I know. My teenage daughter was furious that I got to be in the same space as him in that moment. She was like, I think it was just a series of sounds that she made.
Well, people will really want to know now. That's The Dressmaker. It's out November the 20th. All right, everybody. Yeah, see it then. But now, ladies and gentlemen, 50 Cent, the musician, has returned to us. You're back.
Back?
Yes, you are. Now, we'll see a clip of the video for 9 Shots, the new single, in a minute. But it goes back to an early, kind of terrible experience in your life. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with this story of what happened, it's amazing. Go.
Well,
No pressure or anything.
I got, shot 9 times, but it was one time. So, and I just didn't see the person coming, or I would have avoided it. at all
Yes.
costs.
You would.
This happened, and I was trying to write a song conceptually that would define more of who I am. So I wrote 9 shots and just picked 9 painful moments that I experienced in my life and used the shot as a metaphor.
But the 9...
Where were you shot? Where?
Like in front of my grandmother's house.
But where in your body?
That's like being in the doctor's office, isn't it?
I got hit a few, most of them in the legs. I got hit in my hand and I got hit in the face. So like, the fragment portion of it is in my tongue. So it kind of changed the way I speak a little bit. Like.
And you're rapping as well.
So, yeah.
What is it still in your tongue?
Can you see it?
Yeah, it's great for oral sex.
Is it? Make sure you keep that bit in the show.
Let me just make a note of that. Yeah.
I'm a better man now.
But is it like a lump? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Let's have a feel, 50. I've washed my hands.
Make sure oral sex and then you gotta put your finger in my mouth, huh?
I better not, had I?
No, go have a look, have a look. See if you can
I
find
did have a look.
No, I need a napkin. I need a napkin.
Has anyone got a tissue?
Got a tissue.
A clean one.
Oh, look, these ladies. Thank you very much. Oh, look, they're in the, look, they're still hermetically sealed. Thank you very much. There they go. Lovely.
Wow, like,
Okay,
how was
yeah.
you prepared? Did someone tell you to come with this? How did that happen? What's the odds of that? You'd be sitting in the front row with this.
Yeah.
Who does this kind of stuff, right?
It only happens on this programme, honestly.
Oh, yeah, I can feel it.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah, there you
eBay
go.
tonight. Yeah. Wait till tomorrow night after the show. They'll be worth a lot. Yeah. Hey, we've got a bit of the music video. This is you performing 9 shots.
The first shot, bullet wound in my back. Look at my sneakers. Now I'm on my own. Mommy gone. Sam said you a young boy. Why your clothes look so old? You don't need fish, look. You need a pole. You don't need no new kicks. You need an O. Chop that bag, it get right back at it. It touched me, it hit me in my heart. I'm a hustler, homie. He was giving me my start. I am what I am. Sabrina's only baby, practicing in the mirror, pulling out my 380. Oh man.
Whoa! 9 shots is available now. Julie, as a fan, where would you rate that in 50s oov?
Ooh, I say right. Which, the tongue or the... Wait till I tell my husband that.
You go and shoot him in the mouth. Yeah, he'll understand later, yeah.
Right up there. It's right.
Now, the music, is it hard to get back to the music? Because you seem to be doing so much acting now. I've seen you in quite a few movies.
Well, I actually use my characters now. Like the Kanan character that I play, a reoccurring character on the Stars Network. My show is Power. It's the largest original series on their network, so now
And you were in that and you executive produced it as well?
yeah. I actually developed it from scratch, according to Kent, yeah.
Well done, you.
I do a little something.
Now, you haven't worked with the mighty Meryl Streep, but you met her, you spent time with her?
Yeah, we was, well, a Knick game. We just went in the same place to watch the basketball game.
Oh, the basketball game, oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't her first basketball, well, it was the first live basketball game. And it was interesting, because I had a bit of normalcy, like it was like a punch of normalcy. Because I sat next to her and her influence was so strong that it was like, okay, I'm regular today. Like, wow, this is great. Like, you know, nobody cares, I'm here now.
Well, somebody took a picture of the two of you. There you are.
That's great.
You know what's interesting? Every picture that I saw of that day didn't have the other side of Meryl. Her husband was sitting on the other side of her. It's like every photographer got the memo. Don't you take this motherfucker picture.
You look like you're feeling the cold there, 50.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm in New York City. I'm wearing a Jets hat. It's freezing outside. I'm trying to do it. I'm not a big Jets fan, but I have to. I'm from New York, so you have to wear it.
And, of course, going from acting into music is one thing. But then, Michael, music was your first love, was it not?
Yeah. Yep. But,
Now, were you in a band? Was it a band? band, or...?
You couldn't really classify it as a band. There was only 2 of us. So, you know, his name was Michael, too. So,
Michael and Michael?
That's right, yeah.
Did you have a name? Well, obviously, Michael.
We didn't, actually. We never got round to getting a name. I think Sargasso Sea was something that I was...
Live music Sunday night. Sargasso Sea.
Yeah, I was like looking at through the atlas, you know. There's something interesting here. It was a heavy metal band, so Sargasso Sea was quite apt. Yeah, we didn't...
Heavy metal?
Yeah.
That's so unlike...
What you gonna see in the future, Michael, play like a heavy metal stars?
Well, yeah, I've been trying. I've been putting it out there for a while. Please come back to me.
And did you do gigs?
We did 1 gig in Dingle. Sorry, it wasn't Dingle. It wasn't Dingle. Sorry, it's a lie. It was Kilorglin.
Oh, no, yes. They love heavy metal there. Yeah.
Well, we did. It was a pub too. We were supposed to be busking with electric guitars, and it's always raining in Ireland, so that was kind of, it didn't really work. So we convinced the pub to let us come in at lunchtime and play heavy metal. And yeah, they were like, could you just turn it down a bit? Like, turn it down another little bit. So eventually we were just playing unplugged. Yeah, but now it didn't go down that
well. Julie Walters brings us a beautiful film, Brooklyn, based on the column to be novel. And now, you'd read the novel before it was ever a film, or...?
Yeah, I loved the novel. Yes, it was fantastic when it came in. And the character that I played was the one I really remember. Obviously, I remember the central character, sort of, but she's a young girl, but I really remembered Mrs. Keogh, because she reminded me of all my mother's friends. You know, sort of a mixture of them.
Yeah.
And it was gorgeous. It was the 50s. And, yeah.
So, you're Mrs. Keogh and...
I'm Mrs. Keogh.
Keogh?
Yes.
K-E-O-G-H?
No, it's actually K-E-H-O-E. So I suppose it probably is Mrs. Keogh.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought that sounded a bit rude for some reason.
That's what I thought.
So I stuck to Keogh.
Keogh?
Yeah.
So how does Mrs. Keogh fit into the story?
Well, the story's about a girl who leaves Ireland in about...
Saoirse Ronan, who's fabulous. She's so good.
She's always great, isn't she?
Saoirse Ronan, she is amazing. She made me feel I should go to drama school, really. She was just so focused and confident and just brilliant and lovely person. Anyway, so she plays this young girl who leaves Ireland for a better life, basically, in New York, in Brooklyn. And it's all arranged by the parish priest in Brooklyn, who is played by Jim Broadbent brilliantly. And she moves into this boarding house, and I'm with all these other single Catholic Irish girls and a couple of American girls. And the woman who presides over it, this very, very attractive, sexually charismatic woman. It's played by me. You haven't got a what you call it, a clip?
We do. So, Brooklyn, it's out tonight. Yes. And this is the very sexually alluring Mrs. Keogh.
Oh, no, I look terrible in it.
You look lovely.
Stop it.
You're wearing a very nice cardigan.
I know, the cardigans were great. The cardigans were great. So just look at the cardigan.
So this is Julie looking after her girls.
What is the matter with you girls now?
Nothing is the matter with us, Mrs. Keogh.
Is this all because Ailish has found herself a young man? Ailish is a young man? We didn't know. She won't say anything about it. And why should she? To you awful gossip mongers. Anyway, I met him on Saturday night when he called for Ailish, and he is a gentleman.
Will you tell us what you know about him, Mrs. Keogh? We know he's quite nice looking.
I didn't like his shoes much.
What on earth is wrong with his shoes? They were a funny colour.
I tell you this much. I'm going to ask Father Flood to preach a sermon on the dangers of giddiness. I see now that giddiness is the 8th deadly sin. A giddy girl is every bit as evil as a slothful man, and the noise she makes is a lot worse. Enough.
No, it's a lovely film. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, you've been on a few times, Julie.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, here, you mean?
Yes, here, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've ever mentioned educating Rita.
Oh, wow.
And, well, yes, yeah.
How many years ago? 36, 37 years ago.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah.
Because you originated Educating Rita on stage.
Yes.
And it was a big success.
Yeah.
But then the movie, you weren't supposed to do that, or that wasn't going to happen.
No, it wasn't. No. Well, somebody came to... Well, Lewis Gilbert, who directed the film eventually, came to see the play and then rang me and said that he wanted to make the film, but he didn't think he wanted to use me, but he wasn't sure that he'd be able to, but he was going to go off to... Because nobody knew who I was, and they would need a star to get the money and all of this. He was going to America to try and raise some money. But when he went to America, they wanted Dolly Parton. I'm sorry. Yes, exactly. Very different film. Yes, 2 reasons why I couldn't compete.
It's true, Julia.
Yes, true. Paul Newman and Dolly Parton they wanted. Well, it would have been fabulous, but it was a Liverpool, you know. Anyway, Lewis was wonderful, and he just said, no, we're not going to go down that road. No, and he came back. And then he rang me up and he said, we've got Michael, so we can have you. We've got a star. We can have you. You can play this.
Amazing.
And you didn't get the Oscar, but you did get a BAFTA, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You were very excited to win the BAFTA.
Stop it. I know what you're going to go on about. I had a drop taken that night. That's all. And so I didn't expect to win. And in those days, the BAFTA Awards, this is a very long time before you people, we used to have dinner before... How much of a mistake is that?
That's a disastrous. That's a big old no-no, especially in England.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people were absolutely plastic. Well, not everybody. The first one I'd been to, and they just filled your glass. I was terribly nervous anyway, in case I might have to go up, you know, and all of this. And then it was deadly when I went. I thought I was being really funny, and I obviously wasn't. Really pissed.
But I don't know, G, because we have a picture of that night.
No, you haven't.
And you really can't tell. I don't think you can tell.
Stop it! Oh, my God! Oh, I've never seen that before. Stop, take it off the screen. I've never seen it.
Take it away, take it away, take it away.
I ended up under the table with a very famous actor, and I can't remember who it was. We were putting, like only actors can, we were putting the whole world to rights. Well, I don't know why she won. I don't know why he won. I won meeting Princess Anne. She's never spoken to me since.
Because, Kate Winslet, when you talk about your Oscar, I really like it because you were just so, no false modesty, you wanted to win it, you loved winning it, it was just a brilliant thing.
I'm still thrilled even now, and it was about 7 years ago. Oh, no, it's the most extraordinary moment. I mean, I had...
Because you've been nominated a bunch of times.
Well, you see, the thing is, you get really good at losing. You get nominated more than a couple of times, and...
Weren't you nominated twice that same year, isn't it? No.
I had...
2 categories.
Don't make me say it.
Sorry. Well, I said it for you.
So you were up in 2 categories that year?
I was... What had happened was I had 2 films come out at the same time, which is not uncommon, actually. But it just so happened that both of those films were getting this type of attention. And I went to the Golden Globes that year, and I had been nominated in 2 different categories and won them both, which was quite fabulous, actually. Sorry, everybody else. But it was...
It does look greedy.
Oh, my God, no, it's ever so...
showing off.
I am completely showing off, 100%.
Right, I see.
And then when I did win, it was a really fantastic moment. I've got to say, it was, you know, a personal fist-pumping moment, the biggest one of my whole life.
But you're really generous with the Oscar, aren't you?
Well, one tries. You know, the thing is, first of all, it's very heavy. I just need to say that. It weighs about 6 or 7 pounds. It's really surprisingly heavy. So, and everyone wants to have a hold, of course, and wants to stand up and go, oh, I'd like to thank my primary school teachers and my mum and dad. And so the best place really for Oscar is actually the loo, because then when everyone goes in for a wee or a poo, they can really take their time in front of the mirror with Oscar. You can always tell because they flush, and then there's about another 5 minutes. You're playing with Oscar. And they come out. How was Oscar? And they go, oh my God, it's so heavy. But yeah, it's a lot of fun watching people's faces.
Test. Too long for pee, too short for poo.
That's
you know they're in there with the Oscar.
Because you went through the whole Oscar thing, Michael. Did you go with a speech in your pocket, or...?
No, I didn't. I don't know why. I never really prepare speeches. I probably should, looking back on some of the ones that I've made. Especially a best man speech that I did one time, which was awful. I just really kind of went blank. Yeah, it was. It's okay, they're divorced now.
You didn't waste your time.
Yeah,
you're not joking, are you?
No, I'm not. But yeah, no, I never prepared. No.
Have you been to the Oscars?
Yeah, once. I was like in the back.
Were you near the bar?
I just wanted to feel the energy in the room, like when they're taking selfies and stuff like that. I was like this.
Waving at Meryl.
Yeah,
We've met!
Yeah. In the back, like...
Putting on your green hat. It's me! Right, it's time for our musical performance. The winner of the Best Female Artist at the Brits last year. The first 2 albums went platinum, and now she's back with her third. Performing her current single, On My Mind, please welcome Ellie Goulding!
It's a little blurry how the whole thing started. I don't even really know what you intended. Thought that you were cute and you could make me jealous. Put it down, so I put it down. Next thing that I know, I'm in a hotel with you were talking deep like it was mad loud to you. You wanted my heart, but I just liked your tattoos. Put it down, so I put it down. And now I don't understand it. You don't mess with love, you mess with truth, and I know one shouldn't say it. My heart don't understand why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my heart don't understand why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my I always hear them talking about a girl with my name, saying that I hurt you, but I still don't get it. You didn't love me, no, not really. No way. I could have really liked you. I bet that's why I keep on thinking that's just a shame. You said I was good, so I put it down, so I and now I don't understand it. You don't mess with love, you mess with the truth, and I know I shouldn't say it, but my heart don't understand why I got you on my mind. 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 You think you know somebody. You think you know somebody. You think you know somebody. You got yourself in a dangerous zone, 'cause we both have the fear of being alone, and I still don't understand it. You don't mess with love, you mess with the truth, and my heart don't understand it, understand it, understand it. No, 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 no. Why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my heart. Understand why I got you on my mind. You think you know somebody. My heart don't understand why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my mind. Why I got you on my mind.
Kate, they're all here, gang's all in. Lovely, lovely, nice,
Great.
nice, like a gig glass. Now, congratulations.
Thank you.
Looked and sounded marvellous. And that's the single On My Mind, and that's from Delirium, the album, which is available now.
Yes, it's out.
And it sounded great, look, but the video for that song is pretty epic. They went to town on the video.
Yeah.
So when you went, you were in Vegas?
Yeah.
But like, did they shut Vegas for you?
We got to ride horses through an old casino. Actually, it's still running. It's still actually, you can still gamble there. But it was all very surreal and bizarre, especially the horse riding bit.
We've got a picture of you. This is you on the strip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you go quite fast.
Yeah, we had to. We did have to. I mean, I've ridden horses before, so it wasn't that scary, but they were a little bit scared, I think, so they did poo a lot.
Inside the casino?
Inside, yeah.
But did you have to go like down steps and things on a horse?
Yeah, we pretty much had to do everything. I do all my own stunts, so...
That's difficult.
Yeah, it was hard, but I wanted to make something sort of Thelma and Louise, quite epic.
It was
and,
different.
Yeah, different, yeah.
I definitely wouldn't have went down the steps on the horse.
Do you spend a lot of time in Vegas, 50?
Yeah, I'm out there a lot. But to go down the steps on the horse, my horse needs another horse in front of it to follow. So,
and somebody else on top of it riding it.
Make sure we're not doing nothing. I'm not signaling for it to do anything crazy.
Because Michael Fassbender was on Jane Eyre. You had a horse. No, you had a very badly behaved horse on Jane Eyre.
Yeah.
Prince was the horse.
Yeah.
So what would happen?
Well, he used to get quite aroused when, whenever I got in his back. So, yeah, he did, yeah.
I can understand that.
Dan, the horse handler, had to get on it and sort of, you know, canter him or give him a little trot, so he'd sort of slap off his seat, retract it back in, and then it was good to go.
Until you got on again, and then...
Until I got on again, and then...
Cut. Yeah, you can't have that in your lovely Jane Eyre film.
Yeah. Jane.
Now, of course, Ellie, a lot of people discovered you through the Christmas ad, the John Lewis ad.
Yeah.
Your song.
Yeah.
Which was that was a kind of a big deal for you. I mean, that did introduce you to a whole a different level.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'd released songs of a more electronic orientation, and then when I did that song, it was just my voice and a piano, and I did it with Ben, Love It for Mumford & Sons, and he directed me, and then it was like people had heard me for the very first time when that advert came out. So
because this Christmas, someone on the couch will be featuring heavily in a Christmas ad. Yes. Kate Winslet looked at me like, am I in a Christmas ad?
Wait, I'm sure I didn't. That's what they're all thinking.
Did I do M&S this year? I don't remember. But no, so posh. You're in the Burberry.
I'm in the Burberry.
Yes. You didn't have to jump down on a trampoline,
On the trampoline.
though.
Oh, it was heaven.
Oh.
It was heaven.
But I can't jump on trampolines anymore. I wet myself.
Well, you do. You do. You absolutely do. And everyone...
What do you
I thought it was my age.
Because you're laughing? Or
No, when you've had a few
job.
children, you know, it's just what happened. You haven't had children, have you? I still wet myself. Do you?
Yes. Just generally speaking.
No. Sneezing. Two sneezes, I'm fine. 3... Game over.
I did actually getting off and going to the
Really? You're in the water?
It's bloody awful, especially if you're wearing a skirt.
Yes, but also in borrowed Burberry clothes, you don't want to...
You don't want to make... I was terribly embarrassed the first time. I said, I'm sorry, I've got it. I'm sorry. It's terribly ungainly because you're on a trampoline trying to get off it, you know. But it was very... I loved it. It makes you so high. I was high as a kite. I could have gone on... At my great age, I could have gone on for hours doing it.
Ellie, good luck with the album and the tour. Ellie Goulding, everybody. Thank you very much. Very quickly, before we go, we've just got time for a quick visit to the big red chair. Who's there? Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Spence.
Spence?
Yeah.
Lovely. And where are you from, Spence?
I'm from Devon.
Devon?
Yeah.
All right. And you live in Devon or here?
No, I live in Kentish Town at the moment.
Okay, had to think about that. But good luck getting a cab. And what do you do, Devon? Oh, no, you're not Devon. Who are you? Spence. What do you do, Spence?
I'm a student.
A student of?
Clinical molecular endocrinology.
Hello! Finally! A student of clinical molecular something or other. Off you go, Spence.
Okay, so I've got 3 older brothers, and back in the day, we found out Titanic was coming out. Oh, God. And we were all very excited as the 4 of us that Kate Winslet, you know, sort of, you know...
Yes, we understand. Keep going. We may flip you. Keep going.
We convinced my mum to take us in the car to the cinema. And as we watched for an hour and a half of you know, Titanic, and as it came up to the scene, my mum sort of covered my eyes like this, and all my brothers got to see. And I was so angry, I walked out and sort of got grounded.
Very good. All right, that is it for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please say thank you to my lovely guest, Ellie Goulding. 50 Cent. Julie Walters. Michael Fassbender. We're not here next week. It's Children in Need. But do join me in 2 weeks' time with comeback kings Duran Duran, comedian David Walliams, Doctor Who Peter Capaldi, and the one and only Mr. Tom Hanks. I'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.